The UK has reported at least 150,000 coronavirus deaths since the start of the pandemic in 2020, becoming only the 7th country to exceed the grim milestone. Lawyers for Novak Djokovic have argued he should get leave to remain in Australia because he had COVID less than a month ago and recovered from it. Rescuers in Pakistan are working to clear snow from roads around the resort of Muri in the north, where at least 21 people died stuck in their cars during a blizzard. Officials in Kazakhstan say they've arrested the former head of the Domestic Intelligence Agency on suspicion of treason. Meanwhile, the US has questioned Kazakhstan's decision to ask Russia for military help to deal with ongoing unrest.
We begin with the coronavirus situation in Japan, where concerns are rising over the growing number of cases. The government confirmed more than 8,000 new infections nationwide on Saturday, the first day of a 3-day weekend.
The Omicron variant has been spreading very fast since the beginning of the new year. It is necessary to maintain a strong sense of crisis and take all possible anti-infection measures.
Tokyo confirmed 1,224 new cases. That is 15 times the number reported last Saturday. It is also the first time the daily tally has exceeded 1,000 since September. In the southern prefecture of Okinawa, the usually busy streets of the capital were deserted. The prefectural government confirmed a record 1,759 new cases, the highest in the country.
I'm horrified by the sharp rise. I'm avoiding going to places that are likely to attract people.
I'm worried as there's no end in sight to the rising infections.
Quasi-emergency measures have now been implemented in Okinawa, Yamaguchi, and Hiroshima prefectures. They will remain in place until the end of this month. The action means the prefectural governors can impose targeted measures in areas where there are outbreaks that can help them prevent the medical systems from becoming overwhelmed. A doctor treating COVID-19 patients in Japan is sounding the alarm about the Omicron variant spreading in the country. He says people with mild or no symptoms could unknowingly spread the virus before booster shots become widely available. Professor Oka Hideaki has been on the front lines treating coronavirus patients at a hospital near Tokyo. He visited a long-term care facility for elderly people on Friday. Oka fears infected people with minor or no symptoms may spread the virus without knowing it. He believes vaccination is the last hope. An official at the facility says boosters are scheduled to become available in February. Oka thinks that is too late.
We are very anxious and we are wondering what we should do. We need to take all necessary measures because we don't know exactly how the virus is transmitted.
Professor Oka also visited a clinic in Saitama Prefecture. The health center sends doctors to see patients in their homes. The clinic plans to provide services to people who are self-isolating in their residences or in hotels, but the staff members have not received booster shots yet.
The virus should be regarded as an airborne threat. Even people who are fully vaccinated could become almost defenseless after 6 months.
Oka said medical professionals should assume that their fellow workers and patients may be infected already. He urged them to take strict anti-infection measures.
The danger of becoming critically ill is very high among elderly people. A number of patients will become seriously ill, even if the risk is somewhat reduced. Healthcare systems could be overwhelmed, and we have to take preemptive measures.
Data show the protection that vaccination provides against the Omicron variant decreases over time, but the protection it offers against severe symptoms continues to a certain extent. Studies suggest booster shots will help increase the vaccine's effectiveness against the Omicron variant and severe symptoms. India has imposed a weekend lockdown in the capital, New Delhi, as the country struggles with a spike in coronavirus infections. The city center was quiet and stores were closed on the first day of the lockdown. Everyone, except for medical workers and those who need to visit hospitals, is barred from leaving their homes during the weekend. More than 117,000 cases were reported nationwide on Friday. The number jumped to around 142,000 on Saturday. About 3,000 Omicron cases have been confirmed. The government is scrambling to contain the spread. It will start offering booster shots to medical workers on Monday, and people arriving from abroad will be required to quarantine for 7 days from Tuesday. As European countries also grapple with the spread of the Omicron variant, measures are being considered to ensure that their healthcare systems remain in operation. The European Center for Disease Prevention and Control has proposed that, if necessary, quarantine periods for infected essential workers be shortened to 3 days if they meet certain conditions. That would include having received their booster shots. It warns that this may be necessary as the number of essential workers who cannot go to work because of illness may rise quickly in the coming weeks. They would also be required to wear a high-efficiency mask for 3 days after that. France, Britain, and Germany have already announced shorter quarantine periods for essential workers under certain conditions to allow them to return to work. An association co-founded by Serbian tennis star Novak Djokovic and other players says the athlete wants to share the facts about the Australian visa row. The Professional Tennis Players Association published a statement on Twitter. It says Djokovic requested that he be allowed to personally share the facts of his detainment in his own words and in his own time. The statement also asked that all views on vaccinations be respected. The world's #1 tennis player was denied entry into Australia on Wednesday on the grounds he didn't have proper documentation for a vaccination exemption. He was planning to take part in the Australian Open, which starts on January 17th. All players in the tournament must be vaccinated or have an exemption granted by independent panels set up by state authorities and other bodies. His supporters gathered near a quarantine hotel where the tennis star is holed up. Djokovic is well known for his anti-vaccination stance. His lawyer has filed a legal appeal with an Australian court. A hearing is scheduled for Monday. In Kazakhstan, attention is focused on the whereabouts of former President Nursultan Nazarbayev, who has become the target of nationwide protests. The Kazakh government has responded by labeling anti-government protesters as terrorists and suppressing the demonstrations by force. The Interior Ministry says 26 demonstrators and 18 security officers have been killed. More than 4,400 people have been detained. There is speculation in the media that Nazarbayev has fled the country with his family. But Nazarbayev's spokesperson said on Saturday that he is still in the Kazakh capital. He urged on Twitter that people stop spreading lies or information based on speculation. Nazarbayev was once called the father of the nation and enjoyed the overwhelming support of the people. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is marking his birthday on Saturday, but the occasion has not been reported by the country's media. Kim's age has never been accurately determined. South Korea's unification ministry says he was born in 1984, which would make him 38 years old. His birthday has not been designated as a national holiday, unlike the birthdays of his grandfather Kim Il-sung and his father Kim Jong-il. Massive celebrations are still held to mark both birthdays. Kim Jong-un has cemented his grip on power as the supreme commander of North Korea's military during the past decade, but there has been no improvement in the lives of North Koreans as the economy has been devastated by UN sanctions and the coronavirus pandemic. Experts say officials in Pyongyang are being careful about the timing of iconizing Kim Jong-un. Those were the stories for this hour.